G'day. G'day guys. G'day. G'day team.
G'day guys, welcome back to another episode.
And welcome back to
another episode of our Australia trip.
our Australia trip.
Our Australia trip.
I'm Brad. I'm Brad.
I'm Hayley. I'm Hayley, and we are travelling around Australia
full time in our Landcruiser and Caravan Caravan.
And this is 12 months travelling Australia.
of Australia.
Straight. That's it. Beautiful.
What a time to put the Look at him, he's harmless.
Get going. baby blue. I love it. Just like that, we made it. This looks so good.
What's better than 3 gins? 4 gins.
Yes.
G'day guys, and welcome back to a very special episode of our Australia trip. It's our 12-month on the road anniversary special.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that little montage as much as we've enjoyed making them over the last 12 months. We visited some really special places and we've travelled like over 30,000 kilometres to where we are right now. And at the moment we're in Exmouth, which is on the exact opposite side of the country to where we started. A few weeks back we asked for your questions to be sent through so we could answer them. Basically anything to do with travelling Australia that you guys had a question about. We've compiled them and put them together today, and we're going to answer them for you.
So some of the questions that we'll be answering include things about like general travel, our #1 most asked question. Because we've been in Western Australia for the last few months, there's a few specific Western Australia questions. One's about our setup, one's about like YouTube and the filming side of things, and last of all there were a heap on money, so we'll get to them. Stick around to see if we answer your one, and hopefully yeah, you learn something or get something out of this video. Let's get into our #1 most asked question when we put up the little question box, and surprisingly that was all about like safety and have we ever felt unsafe? Do we lock our stuff up all the time? How do we handle if we don't feel safe? All that sort of thing, which
very bizarre.
Doesn't really cross our mind,
No.
hey?
No,
But
not
I
at
guess
all.
it's on the mind of a lot of people. So,
Yeah. Well, one of the good things about travelling is you don't watch a lot of news, which is very sensationalist. So
yeah.
I have to say, a lot of the places, well, pretty much all the places we've been to, even the ones that have a bad name, have not really been that bad. So in regards to like safety and security, the short answer is no, we haven't really ever felt unsafe. And how we deal with theft and stuff like that is just basically, a lot of it is opportunistic, and if you just lock all your stuff up every night, if you make a good habit of that, you're going to reduce your chances of getting broken into quite significantly, even, you know, avoiding them completely.
And speaking of safety, we also have had questions, do you carry a sat phone? No, we don't. However, we do now have Starlink, which kind of can work as a sat phone. If we're in an emergency, we can set the Starlink up and we can call or contact anyone wherever we are. So yeah, that's a benefit of that.
Yeah,
but we haven't had a sat phone.
No, we haven't had a sat phone. We also haven't really been in an area where we've really needed a sat phone. Like, there's always people around to help. We don't go out into the middle of nowhere where there's no one and, you know, getting ourselves into sticky situations. It's just not the traveling that we do. And pretty much everywhere we go, we're not that far from help, even though we may be far from a lot of things.
And now going into sort of just general travel related questions. How did you make the leap to travel? Well, we came up with the idea about 4 years before we actually left. We probably didn't commit to it properly until about 2 years before we left.
Yep.
And I think, like, I've heard this advice before and it's so true. I think if you're thinking about doing it, you've just got to set a date, because there's always excuses that you could come up with. There's always like things that pop up, events that pop up, you know, you could always save more money. So I think you've just got to, if you want to do it seriously, you've just got to
set a savings goal and set a date.
Yeah. And then once you've ticked those off, it doesn't matter, you just go.
Yeah, when you're getting close, like you said, like we conceived the idea like 4 years before we set off, but 2 years in we started actually making steps towards it. We started buying things, we started you know, looking at the caravan and vehicle markets and stuff like that. And we'll get into a bit further in the budget area about how much we saved and stuff like that. But yeah, start saving and see where that gets you, and make your plans from there. The next question we have is, what was the biggest surprise for us when we started traveling, good or bad?
I would say the biggest surprise for me was how much money you spend.
Yeah.
Because like everything is just so expensive, and then there's all these extra costs that just pop up and you don't think it's much, but then when you add everything together, you're spending a lot more than what you think you're spending.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't know that. We only know that because I'm tracking everything that we spend. I think if we weren't tracking our money, we wouldn't even realise where the money's going.
Yeah, I would say the same thing, but to give you another thing that I was surprised about is about like when you're travelling, before we started travelling, I thought we would have just time on tap. Like we thought we would have so much free time on our hands, and we do to a certain degree, but the amount of time that you spend like stocking up, you know, getting fuel, traveling to new destinations and stuff like that, the full-time travel lifestyle, you've got to be constantly moving to keep up with the seasons and stuff like that, and that means that you're not sort of going away on holiday for a month and staying put for a month and sort of super like getting into that super holiday relaxed mode.
Everything takes so much longer than what you think. And we don't even have kids. So imagine like having kids, and you know, a job stay for us, we think, oh yeah, we'll go to this spot today, it's a 2-hour drive, and we'll get the shopping, the water, the dump, we'll do all this, and then we don't roll into camp until like 6 o'clock at night when we thought we'd get there at lunchtime.
Oh, it'd be a two-day ordeal if we had kids.
It's crazy. That's a really good one. Do you have any regrets so far on your trip?
Any regrets? I honestly can say that we've had no regrets. Well, I can honestly say that I've had no regrets. I don't think. I think doing this in so many aspects has been the best thing that we have done, taking the plunge and doing this.
Yeah, definitely.
But as for regrets, I can't say I have any. No, I was even trying to think of anywhere we've been where I would not go, but no. Happy days. There you go. It's all roses. Now we've had a few top 5s. You guys have asked what our top 5 free camps are, which is pretty hard, because a lot of the places you go, there may be low cost places, but there's not a lot of like free camps. $0 camps. Yeah, and they're disappearing as well. For us, because we stick to the coast a lot. I'm sure obviously inland there's heaps of free camps, but for the travelling that we've done, there's not a lot of true free camps, and even we've noticed that some are shutting down. But yeah, in saying that, we would definitely say all the ones out at Caravan were amazing. They're all free, just outside the national park, and they were spectacular. Yeah, Albert Tongolini and Buddha free camp. Buddha's Tiger Eye, and there were more that we didn't even get to. There were so many. Yeah, but in terms of our travels, free camps, Notch Point in Queensland was a good one. Yeah. And Wirralty Beach in South Australia. Yep, that was a good one. Yeah, so and also Point Brown in South Australia. That's another really good free camp on the coast. But yeah, there's so many good low cost camps, but we'll just stick to our actual free camps for that one. Keep the question. And the next one was top 5 spots that we've been so far. Okay, would you want to do your top 5 and I'll do mine? Like it's hard because I would just say all of Western Australia. No, the number 1 spot that we've been, I think we both agree now, is Ningaloo. Absolutely. Like the whole Ningaloo area. Like it's just unbeatable for us and what we're into. So that'd be number 1 for sure. Up until that point, I think we said Esperance was amazing. We loved North Queensland. Yeah, Cape Tribulation things like
Yeah.
places like that, ancient rainforest, like that's just
Yeah.
epic.
Yeah. The Whitsundays area I really enjoyed, and Airlie Beach and all that.
Mhm.
Thought that was really cool. And I'd probably say the Cape as well, because it was just such... I have so many like happy memories from that spot, and it was like such a big adventure.
Yeah.
And it was heaps of fun, so I would say the Cape as well.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll go. I've got a lot of similarities. Ningaloo, Esperance, Fraser Island.
Oh, I forgot Fraser. Yeah, add that in too.
Fraser Island. Jeez. Yeah, like Far North Queensland. Yeah, there's a bunch in South Australia. I'm trying to pick between a few in South Australia.
Yeah.
Look, I won't pick. I'll go. My two favourite spots in South Australia was Point Turton and Rapid Bay.
Yeah.
So I've got
nice.
6, but
Yeah, no, that's
Sour rolls.
good. And we've only been to like half of the country, so yeah,
we still got a fair bit to
plenty
go.
of spots to go.
And Carangini.
Oh,
Carangini. So
that's up there too.
I'm redoing mine.
Okay.
Okay, so Ningaloo, Carangini, Esperance,
That's WA.
Fraser
Just
Island.
say WA.
and God,
North Queensland.
North Queensland.
Happy days.
And then Rapid Bay and Point Turton.
Someone asked, how did you learn to slow down and take things slowly and take everything in? And I love that someone's asked that, because that means that maybe they've noticed that we're doing that.
Yeah.
Which is cool,
Yeah.
hey?
Well, it all started in the beginning. Like when we were traveling in the beginning, we were meant to get to the Cape by a certain day, and we sort of worked towards that. And I feel like we travelled really slowly, and then we're like, oh crap, we need to make up a lot of ground, so then we travel fast.
Yeah.
And we left and started making YouTube videos the day that we left. So that also meant that we started releasing videos every week, all the way up until the end of the year when we started South
Once
Australia.
we went to South Australia.
Where we moved to 2 videos a month rather than 4. And I think the 3 months that we spent in South Australia really taught us to slow down, because up until then we felt like we had to keep moving to keep up with making videos every week. And not all of it was based around making YouTube videos.
No,
but
we also had dates, like you said. We had to get to the Cape by a certain time. We also were never meant to leave until the end of last year, but we left in the middle of last year because we had some family things on. So like we had to be back home by certain dates. So we had dates to work to. So
yeah, there's a bunch of factors, and like once we're done with these dates, we are commitment free for as long as we possibly can.
So the start of our trip, traveling fast, then made us realise, we actually want to travel slow. And then once we got to South Australia, we stripped back the videos. We didn't have any dates to work towards, and we did travel slow, and we saw how good it was. But the question actually says, how did you learn to do it? Take things slowly, take everything in.
Well, the more time you spend in the place, the more time you have to take it in. And that cannot ring any more truer than the 3 months we spent in South Australia. We just slowed down,
just
had days to
allow
chill.
yourself to spend more time in a place.
Yeah, you're not going to like one beach, one time, one day. Everything's different in different weather. So like, we just go to one spot, base yourself there, have a look around, you figure out what you want to do, and then go and do that when the weather's good, pretty much. That's how we roll.
So if you want to slow down and take everything in, I'd recommend not having dates that you have to be committed to, and allowing extra time than what you think in places, because then that will give you that opportunity to spend more time in each place.
100%. But hey, time's the biggest constraint in a lot of people's lives, and you know, your time budget is basically more important
really
than
hard.
your
Like,
money
the
budget.
people that are on a 1 year lap and have to do the lap in a year, like,
you're not gonna.
they can't take that advice.
You're not gonna do it slowly, because we've done it relatively slowly, and we've seen. I think you'd have to do a lap for 3 years at this pace to see just the perimeter.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
now for some Western Australia questions. First of all, did you book places in WA? Yes. When did we book them?
When we realised that we needed to.
When we realised, we literally got here in February, got to Esperance, realised how crazy busy it was and how booked out everything was. And then we were like, okay, like Ningaloo's the #1 spot that we've wanted to go for ages. We don't want to miss out on all the stuff there. So we literally just started booking stuff in March. And it was already booked out in March. So you can get cancellations. So we've literally just gotten all cancellations. Pretty much March, April, May, even up to when we got here in June. We were still getting cancellations. So like 4 months worth of booking cancellations, and then we got 7 weeks here.
And we were super lucky because that was at the time that we stopped for 3 months to work. So we were essentially weren't moving anywhere, and we were able to have that 3 months of time to get the cancellations and make all our bookings. But take it from us, if the Western Australian coastline, especially this Coral Coast area, is important to you, you need to book it, because otherwise I don't think you're going to have a great time. You're going to come a long way and be pretty let down, I think. But hey, everyone travels differently. We love not having a plan. We love not having
and we would
bookings
have
and
rathered
stuff like that.
For sure.
But it's in our opinion, or in my opinion especially, it's essential to have a good time on this coastline.
Yeah, and in saying that, you don't need to book all of Western Australia. We booked the whole Ningaloo area, like Ningaloo Exmouth.
Because that's what was most important to us.
And I'd recommend booking Esperance.
Yeah.
But you can probably get away with not booking. Oh, we haven't booked anything in Broome, and I think we might get a bit burned from that. But yeah, I'd say Ningaloo, definitely need to book Esperance properly. And
yeah, go from there.
What's the longest time you've gone remote without seeing a shop for water and food in WA?
Very good question.
Such a good question, because I had this question when we were trying to make all these bookings, because I was looking on wiki camps and I'm seeing like no water anywhere. And I'm thinking, how are we going to go to all these camps for like a week at a time and there's no water anywhere?
Well, we made it work, didn't we?
Well, let me tell you, you just go without.
Yep. But we will delve deeper into this when we do like a recap video on our time here on the Coral Coast. But the longest time that we've gone, what do you know the exact day?
I think it was about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was a long time, and we were scrooging it with the water. We have 400 litres of capacity, and I think by the time we left that last camp, we were pretty much out.
Obviously, you can just go as long as what you want to go.
Yeah.
Because you could go to a camp and you could stay there 2 nights, and then you could drive back and find a town with water and all that. You just have to drive a couple hours.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, obviously you probably want to go and stay longer at a camp. So I reckon you know your setup, you know how long you can go without water and whatnot, and then plan it like that. But just know that you will have to drive and backtrack to get water and food. You know, like you might be camped like at Warra Station, for example, and then you need to drive an hour or so back to Caravan to stock up on water and food again. Yeah. It's just what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it depends on your setup, and if you know what your limits are, and if you don't mind taking a crap track 2 hours to go and get water on the Ningaloo coast, and that's what you want to do, then that's what you do. But we didn't have to do that, and we didn't really want to do that, and
And in saying that, like, we've spoken to people who are staying at camps like this for I think the longest you can stay is 28 days, and they're here for 28 days. They've probably got less water than us, and they make it work.
They just do a water run. And
or
in terms of food, hasn't really been as much of an issue as water. Obviously you pay for food. Water in a lot of places you don't have to pay for it, but it is smart to stock up when you can. So again, on the Coral Coast, there's not a Woolworths for like a long time. There's probably 1,500 k's between Woolworths or like major supermarkets. So you can get food pretty readily, but you're going to be paying for it.
Yeah, and obviously, like, we're on a budget, so when we were in Caravan, we did a huge stock up to try and get anything we could get that would last 7 weeks. We got it, and then that way, obviously, we're still shopping while we're here, but we're only getting the fresh stuff and just little top ups that we need to help save us money.
Let's cruise into our setup questions. So the first question in regards to our setup, like our ute and our caravan, how long did it take to pick your van and your car, and what did you consider? Well, there was a lot of deliberation, wasn't there? And there was a few different levels that
we went through a couple different setups.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, until we got it right. So basically we started off with a Hilux, and we were just going to have a semi-off-road van, because the original goal for us was just a year lap, a quick lap, do a lap of the country, sell it off and be done with it. And the more we started planning and researching and getting into it, we realized that it was going to be a bigger ordeal than just 1 year. So we ended up going with a fully off-road van, built in Queensland. A lot of great vans are built in Queensland. So, and growing up watching the Gore Boys, I know how good Kedron caravans are. So we went with a Kedron for a full-time rig, and we obviously needed a car to tow it. We needed a big payload, we needed a powerful engine, so we couldn't go past the 79 series Landcruiser.
Yeah, I think the biggest consideration with all of that was reliability, because once we knew that we wanted to travel for a while, and this was going to be our home for a couple of years, we wanted it to be reliable. So that's why we went with Kedron, because we thought that was an amazing,
pretty
reliable,
bulletproof van. Yeah,
bulletproof van. And then same with the Toyota.
Yeah, the Toyota's super bulletproof. The 79 series Cruiser, it's not the most comfortable thing in the world,
but that's fine.
But it gets the job done, and it sounds good while it's doing it.
Yeah, and touch wood, we've had no issues with either.
Yeah.
Now into the YouTube filmy sort of questions. Lots of questions about starting a YouTube channel, tips, tricks, difficulties.
Yeah. There's a lot of people out there doing it, and I think it's a great thing to document your trip. In terms of like channel tips, I think the biggest tip you can get, and it's so cliche, is be yourself. Basically, our whole philosophy is just make a home video that we would enjoy watching and that we would watch back.
A high quality home video.
Yeah, well, and look at how much our videos have improved over the time that we're making it. I go back and watch some of our earlier videos, and I'm watching it like this. Oh god, I can't believe I did that in that video. But like, just natural progression is a thing. So try and make the best quality video you possibly can. And if you watch it and you're bored, I would suggest cut it down.
That's a good one. Hey, we always watch back the episodes before we put them up, and as soon as we're like, that bit's boring, then
chop it. Yeah. So yeah, just basically do it for the fun. Don't do it to get famous or make a buck out of it, because if you make good videos, you'll be able to make a little bit of money on the side, and share it with a wider audience as you grow.
And then like the struggles with YouTube would be, obviously it can easily become like a job and like a chore, and that's what we sort of realized towards the end of last year. And then we were at this crossroads where we still wanted to make the videos, but we didn't want to feel like we were working a full-time job while we were traveling. So yeah, I think if you're in that boat of starting a YouTube channel and that, just remember at your core why you made the videos. And that's what we had a conversation about, and that's why we then went to only doing a video once a fortnight, because then that gave us a good balance of still being able to film and create these home videos, but
enjoy a place
enjoying
as well,
the process,
rather than seeing it through a lens and being worried about getting certain shots. Nowadays we just sort of try and make it as fun as possible, and take away a lot of the stress that is unnecessary and that you might put on yourself to.
And like, we've been so lucky to meet so many awesome subscribers so far, and I'm sure if we've met you, you've probably realized we don't film a lot. you probably don't see us, if you spend time with us, you probably don't see us really filming, and that's because we really don't film a lot, because we've got a good balance now where we film a little bit, but we enjoy a lot of it as well.
Okay, so we always get questions about our camera gear, our drone in particular. We just have the DJI Mini 3 Pro, which is just like
Pro.
Yeah, we have a Pro version because we have a screen in the controller. It's just quicker to get up, and it's it is great. We use the drones so often, and it's so quick and easy to get in the air. So it's the entry level drone for DJI, and I think the DJI is like basically the only drone that you would probably consider getting for a dummy like me. And yeah, that does everything we need, and it's light. It's under 250 grams, so you don't need a license to fly it. Yeah, so DJI Mini 3 Pro is our drone. We've got a Sony A7 IV, which is our mirrorless camera. Basically, we only ever shoot with that thing on auto. We're not professional photographers, we're not professional videographers. Yeah, so that's just our high quality camera for like long range shots and stuff like that. And our run and gun is our little GoPro Hero 10, which gives us grief on the daily. And I
wish there was an alternative, hey?
Yeah, I think there is.
We have so much trouble with that GoPro.
Yeah, it really, like, it frustrates us to no end every day. The amount of clips that are stopped, the amount of clips that we've lost. There's just issues and issues on GoPros. But hey, yeah, there's not really much of an alternative. So that's it. We deal with that, and we just shoot sometimes on our phones as well.
Yeah.
We always shoot in 4K as well, which is another tip for a YouTube channel. I try and watch videos in the highest quality possible. So yeah, the reason we have all those things is so we can shoot in 4K 60 frames a second, and that's how we do it. We edit our photos with a program on our Mac called Lumina AI. We edit our videos with Final Cut Pro, and I
do the Instagram Reels on CapCut.
Yeah.
And into the most exciting topic of all, money. Alright, let's try and answer these quick, hey? Quick fire. How much money did we save before leaving? Not including the setup money. How much did we save for that?
For
just
spending?
Like spending money, we saved 50 grand. How long did we save for before leaving? We saved for 4 years.
We saved that much money because we wanted to travel. The idea was to travel for a year because that was our original goal, and not have to work along the way. Obviously it grew into something much bigger than that, but that's the main reason why we saved that 50 grand. How much money have we set aside for emergencies? Good question.
We had like $12,000 in our emergency fund, but we actually already had that fund even before doing our trip. We've always had an emergency fund since we got to did our finances, so we just carried that over into this trip, and yeah, definitely important.
If you struggle with money, read The Barefoot Investor.
Yeah, that's where we got the idea from, and we've had it ever since.
Super helpful.
How much money would you average spend in a week, like our average weekly costs? I'm going to give you two. Last year we averaged just over $1,300 per week, and that's including every single dollar that came out of our bank account, so absolutely everything. However, if you just want to think about like your normal costs, then I would say $1,000 a week. And the difference is big costs like insurances, or if you blow a tire, or if you need to go for a quick flight back home, if you crash your drone and you need to buy a new one. So they're kind of your differences between your $1,000 a week and then what you actually spend, which for us for the past year has been $1,300 a week average.
Okay, so our total spend for the year
was $70,000.
70,000, big ones.
And that's everything, absolutely everything.
Ouchie mama. But when you put it into perspective and think about like what you would have spent if you're living in a house, I'm sure it would have been much higher than that. So we've lived a life of leisure and spent $70,000 in doing so. It's not a bad trade-off really when you put it into perspective. And the last question is, what did we do for work before setting off? Well, I was a building estimator and Patsy was the teacher. So we went into that a little bit in our work episode.
We've done a whole working
Q&A.
on the road Q&A episode a couple of videos ago, so you can go back and learn more about all of that in that video.
Well, that pretty much wraps up our 12-month on the road Q&A. I think that was short and sweet. It was really good. I think we got to the bottom of everything, and thank you for popping your questions in. Thank you to the lovely people that continue to buy us beers and support the episodes.
Yeah, it's so nice.
You're very
helps.
sweet. So this is a bonus episode. This is coming out in between our usual posting weeks, and the next episode will be coming out next Saturday, and we'll see you in the beautifully stunning Caravanning National Park.
So good. Thanks for watching. See you
Cheers.
then.
See you later.